Okay, so let's get started. I will explain to you how I think about adding, subtracting integers more specifically. If another way works for you, that works for me. But when I look at this first problem, it says -3 plus -1. In my brain, I read it as -3, and we're getting more negative by 1. So let me repeat that. I read it as I'm at -3 and I'm getting more negative by 1. So if I look at a number line and I'm at -3, point in the direction of the more negative numbers. On a number line, which way would be more negative? Point there. Everybody. Okay, yes, to the left. And I'm moving to the left one place. So if I move to the left one place, where am I at now? -4. Exactly. Not -2, -4. I just want to make that clear. I would think about this next problem the exact same way. So I'm at -4. I'm getting more negative by 5 units. So that would lead me to -9. Beautiful. The third one, I'm at 6. I'm getting more negative by 10 units. That would just coincidentally lead me again to -4. -16, now I'm getting more where? More positive. Where's more positive, left or right? To the right. So if I'm at -16 and I'm moving to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, I'm ending up at -11. Beautiful. And then the last question in the adding section, you want to add those first two together. -4 and -2 would be -6 plus +6. Whenever we have opposites, they add to 0. And that's just, I cross my zeros, just FYI. I also cross my Z's. I also cross my 7s. That's just how I was taught. So if you see those things, that's what they are. All right, let's jump down to subtraction. Again, I kind of think about this in the same way. So if I'm starting at -5, I'm not getting more negative, I'm getting less negative. Where are you less negative at? To the right. So if I'm moving to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to end up at -1. You may or may not have seen your teacher in the past tell you that there's 2 minus signs. You can change those to a plus. Have we seen that? And that's fine. If you think about it like that, I'm cool with that. I just like to logically think I'm getting less negative. That would be to the right. Same rule goes for this one here too. These two would change to a plus. -1 plus 35 would be 34. Same here. We have those 2 minuses. 10 plus 8 would lead me to 18. Before I move to the last one, are we cool with those first 3 for subtraction? Awesome. Now, I'm not calling anybody out in here. I saw some -1s for the answer to this one. So let's talk about why this is not -1. So we're at -20. Oops. And if I'm reading this as less positive. Which way is less positive? I'm going to say that again. Which way is less positive? If you're trying to get to the least amount of positive numbers, where would you go? To the left. And we're moving to the left 19 whole places. I'm not going to count that many, but 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, 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 blah. I'm actually going to end up at -39. -39. So be careful on that one. That was probably the most missed question that I've seen today. Again, your teacher may have taught you keep, change, keep, flip, change, all that crap. Don't care. I want you to do what's best for you. So if that is doing what I just showed you, literally drawing a number line, do it. If you just are fine with it, and just use whatever method works best for you. Don't try and memorize someone else's method. Because that's when we start memorizing, that's when we start messing things up. Okay, let's go to a little bit easier thing. Let's talk about multiplication and division. What are the two rules you need to remember when we are multiplying and or dividing? There's two options here for multiplying and dividing. Demonte, what are they? Okay, what about if it's two positives? Okay, so I'm going to wrap that all into one rule. If they're the same sign, my answer is positive. Okay, then what's the other rule? If they're different signs, thank you, Ashlyn, they are negative. So if we're looking at that first problem, they are both negative. So I know that my answer is positive, and 3 times 1 would just give me a positive 3. The second one, my two numbers are negative. So one is negative, one is positive. So my answer is going to be negative. 4 times 2 would be negative 8. These two are opposite, so I know my answer is negative. 7 times 3 would be 21. These are opposite, so my answer would be negative. 2 times 4 would be negative 8. What about the last one? What is different about that last problem than the first 4 problems? Someone besides Demonte. What do you think, Fiona? Why does that last problem look different than those first 4 multiplication ones we did? It has 2 parts. So what do we need to do for the first part? If you looked at that, what would be your first step? Okay, but be confident. What would you do first? I agree. So what would be the answer to that negative 4 times negative 2? Okay. I believe your overall answer is correct at 2. So let's go back. What is negative 4 times negative 2? I agree. Beautiful. But we have opposite signs, negative 6. Awesome. Great job. Okay, so then we would add that piece 8 plus that negative 6, which you would end up with positive 2. The main thing I wanted to touch on, we don't want to do negative 4 times negative 2 plus 3 times negative 2. We want to make sure we're following that order of operations. So what Fiona did is she did these 2 pieces of multiplication first and then added those 2 answers together. Digital. I even worked with her for like getting her situation figured out for a long time today. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's look at division. Again, same rules apply. So if they're the same sign, if I can erase this, come on, buddy. Okay, same sign, positive, opposite signs, negative. So negative and a negative is going to give me a positive. What's 30 divided by 6? Yeah. Yes. Very good. What about 44 divided by 4? Brianna? 11. Good. Now, are the last two the same answer? Nope. You're very confident. Are you sure? Would you bet $1 million on it? Why are they different? Go ahead. Yeah. You seem confident. Okay. Okay, I agree, but I'm going to explain it using stuff. So like the third one, this is like I'm taking 6 cookies and I'm dividing it among 12 of my friends. So how many is each person going to get? How many? Half, right? But in this case, negative, right? We're just going to, for funsies, we're going to say negative 1/2 cookies. And the last one, I'm taking 12 cookies and I'm dividing it among 6 of my friends, which would be 2, but we want to look at those signs to make sure we know it's negative 2. Beautiful. I do want you to realize those are different. When you're adding and subtracting, adding and multiplying, it doesn't matter the order. Dividing and subtracting does matter. All right. I want someone to impress me. What does it mean to be an absolute value? I am hoping your teacher taught you this at some point. Brianna. Yes, ding, 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 Brianna wins. Absolute value means how far is that number away from 0? When we're talking about distance, can you ever have negative distance? Raise your hand if you've ever run a negative mile. Not me. Even if you run it backwards, you're still positive distance. So if we're looking at this first problem, I'm asking how far is negative 13 away from 0? How many places? It's 13 away. How far is 15 away from 0? 15 away. And then the last thing I need to do is whatever operation is there. So we want to add those together to get 28. Now, what is the difference between that first number or that first problem and the second one? Look at the absolute value symbols, not the numbers. What's different between those two? Can someone tell me? Look at the first one we just did and then look at the 21 minus 8. What's different about their absolute values? Annalise, do you know? Good, yeah, so you'll see that second one, there's just one set of symbols and it's around the whole entire equation. The first one, each of the pieces had their own symbol. So we do these a little bit different. So for the second one, we're actually gonna solve that first, and then we're gonna take the absolute value of the answer. So 21 minus 8 is 13, and then how far is 13 away from 0? That's not a trick question. 13. And the third one, since they're individual, we're gonna do them individually and then add. So negative 3 is 3 away from 0. Negative 5 is 5 away from 0. And if we add those, we would get 8. Now this next one, and then I'm gonna let y'all work on the rest of them. I'll give you a couple minutes. So the absolute values around the whole entire thing. So we wanna solve that first. What is negative 7 minus 16? The hardest one we've done today. Negative 7 minus 16. You know, what do you think it is? I agree, it is negative 23. Then what else do we need to do? Because if it's in absolute value, what does that mean? That's asking how far is negative 23 away from 0? That's 23, good, positive 23. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few minutes, probably like, we'll give you to like 3:10. I want you to try and do the rest of those. And then, okay, so this bottom one, negative 14 minus negative 1, you should have got an answer of positive 13. This top one should have been positive 38. And then positive 7, positive 5, 0, and 13.